Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. Happy 24th birthday to the Sims franchise. I can't believe The Sims turns 24 today. And I am so excited to have Nard and Disney here to take a minute and just celebrate this franchise that has been around for over 20 years now. And thank you both so much for coming here today. Yeah. Oh, hold
All
on.
right, happy birthday,
I can't reach
Sims.
it, but mine is up there. I have the Sims Deluxe and all of my
Nice.
collection
Me
right
too.
here. I have all the Sims 2 expansions. I'm missing one Sims 2 game pack, and I have most of the Sims 3 expansions, and I think that's stuff packs. Or are they stuff? Yeah, no, they're stuffs.
Look
So
at you with your collection.
I know. Thank you, thrift stores. Just as I'm now like falling out of my chair and needing to get it back into place. Anyways, I'm so excited to be sitting here today and celebrating The Sims. And before we dive in, let's do a quick round of introductions. Nard, you go first. Welcome back, my friend.
Thanks for having me per usual. I'm your second most invited person on your podcast at the moment, hoping to be the first at some point. Those who don't know me, I go by Nardvillain. Probably by far, allegedly one of the greatest builders of all time, and time will tell. I will finally get that credit during this what we calling it, the war, the
The Draft Wars.
draft war. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so I do mostly Sims 4 content. Do a lot of builds. Just kidding. Skits and all that good stuff, little tips and tricks. And I've been playing The Sims since 2001, I believe, since the Sims Deluxe days. And ever since then, I haven't left the franchise. I went from Sims 1, Sims 2. We can talk about that later. But yeah, just been simming since I was a kid. So happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here also as a fellow Draft Wars competitor. Love Alex for coming up with the idea.
Mhm.
I'm so mortified from Twitch. So many people reached out to me after being like, you did so great. Everybody's first Twitch seems really bad.
Mhm.
You're not the exception. You are the rule. And I'm like, I'm not
I
used
was
to
yeah.
that. It's
I
fine.
felt like I razzed you up a little too hard during the stream, but you're a trooper because you razz me up as much any opportunity you get. So
It's the brother-sister relationship. That's our job. Our job is to
exactly,
literally razz us. As my mic is plugged
exactly,
in, and I did check that twice before
perfect.
starting. So I love
Proud of
that.
you.
Thank you. I'm proud of me
Mhm.
too. Disney Sims, welcome back, baby girl, for almost the 40th time. How does it feel to be sitting on 40 episodes of this podcast at this point?
Feels like it's been no time at all, my love. I could spend eternity with you.
Oh my God, I could spend eternity with you. I mean, both are like we're both married, but like we could get it. You know what I mean? Like we're turning into a quad. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it works.
it works.
We're getting into it. Oh my God. Yeah, so by the way, your Raz and your Riz are top notch, Stas. Um, swooning over here. Hello, I am Court, aka the Disney Sims, aka Towny Tales, and I mostly do storytelling. Sometimes I make cringy reels on the internet. Um, following in nerd steps but for making cringy things. And yeah, I love The Sims. I've been playing for 24 years. Obsessed, can't wait to see where it's going, and can't wait to talk about what it's been like for in my life for having it.
Amazing and love you. And again, for another 40, you'll be here for another 40 episodes. At the end of this, I'll actually just hand you the cat headphones and I'll be like, it's your turn as I like go off into the sun. But I'm so excited to have both of you here. As a lifetime Sims player myself, I've been playing for the past 21 years. As I was saying before we started this podcast, I can't think of anything that I've ever done consecutively for 21 years besides, eating and sleeping. But just like something that's always stuck with me. So I'm very excited to kind of like dive in and kind of get to know a little bit more about like what originally drew you to The Sims. I'll go first. You guys can kind of like have the idea. I didn't know what The Sims was until my childhood best friend, her name was Casey. Her dad was in IT, so she had a computer in her room and she had The Sims. And I used to go to her house for lunch every day because like you could see her house from the school.
Mm.
And I was one of those lucky kids that had like an hour and a half lunch break like every day. So we would go, her mom would make us like grilled cheese and chocolate milk, and we would play The Sims. And like looking back, I just remember being so fascinated that I could create anybody that I wanted in The Sims. And it's something I know this will sound bad, for especially in later in the podcast, but I was never a townie person. I never really played with the townies. I never really acknowledged the townies. I knew they were there, but I was always so fascinated with like creating myself. Or like creating
Mhm.
like an older version of myself because I was only 10 when I started playing. So like I wanted to see myself as a teenager, as an adult. How many like what if I had babies with my grade 5 crush? What would our babies look like? And I was also obsessed with gameplay. I wanted the careers. I cheated later once I knew what cheats were, but like I would have start with the smallest house. My house was always on fire. I I will never get like fucking vacations out of my or superstar walking the runway or
Mhm.
like making magic. So like it's just those moments that kind of stuck with me, which made me just love the franchise so much. Which made me want to play Sims 2. And I went to the States. Target had an exclusive, and I made
Target.
my parents drive me to the state, which it was not out of the question at the time because they'd go to the States quite frequently. But I remember like that was like the first video game that I bought with my own money was Sims 2, and then our computer couldn't handle it and it died. But just
Aw.
like, I don't know, but just that like it was just so nostalgic for me. I was a Sims girl and I was a Neopets girl. Like I didn't get much further than those two things. Nard, how about you? Talk to me like how did you find out about The Sims? And like how did your lifelong love start?
I think I found out about The Sims originally through other friends in school, and I used to rock with like Game Pro magazine that was kind of popular back in the day, and PC Mag was a thing too. And I actually didn't have a I didn't we didn't get a computer until like right around 2001, my junior year in high school. So I will go over to my friend's house and use their computer a lot, hop on AOL chats and Yahoo chats or whatever, and do all that and play video games and stuff like that on the computer. So I didn't really get it until like maybe 2001, 2000, yeah, about 2001 when I got a computer. But I just enjoy the idea of being able to control just assimilation, like being able to control and build a house and like tell your sim what to do, where to work, when to go to sleep. And again, I had a creative mindset even at the age of 14, 15 or whatever, however old I was in my junior year. And so because of that, it gave me another outlet to just be creative, be in my mind, but while playing a video game. Because when I was even younger than when I was growing up in like elementary, when I was like 8 or 9 or whatever, I used to play with like GI Joes and like create stories around my GI Joes. I like have them like I'll build like forts and stuff and play with my GI Joes that way, or I'll have them wrestle each other, and I'll have Ninja Turtles fighting the GI Joe. So creating a story, telling them where to live and where to sleep, when to sleep. So it was basically a digital version of what I was already doing as a kid, and now I have this access to do it digitally. So I just fell in love with it. Just everything from creating the story, building, and making my own sim, and playing around with the townies. I played around with the townies a little bit too. So that's pretty much how I got my start, because I was just always into that storytelling, telling people what to do kind of thing. So
And I think it's really interesting as we're all lifetime players. We've all been playing this game
mhm.
for 20 years. Guys, like for anybody who's a baby listening to this, we love you on this podcast, but the internet was very different like
Mhm.
21 years ago. Like I just found out today that the Janet Jackson Super Bowl titty out was 20 years ago today. And I was like, that's been 20
Wow,
years. 20
that's
Wow.
years.
crazy.
Oh my God. I thought this was like 5 years. Like, no, it's 20 years.
That was
Uh,
20.
that's
Sheesh.
yeah. So like back then, like you had AOL, you had MSN, and like you would like maybe Google things. You had web-based games, but there
Yeah.
was no any form of creativity when it came to like creating a house, creating Sims, telling a story, doing whatever you kind of really wanted. So it's interesting to see that like how much the Sims was playing 3D chess while the rest of the world was playing checkers. Now stuff is caught up to it. The question is, are they still playing 3D chess or now are they playing checkers? But before we dive into that a little bit later, Disney, talk to me. How did you first find about The Sims and like when did that love letter start?
Yeah, so I feel like I had my parents were pretty attentive to what my interests were. So when I was younger and we got our first computer, my first thing I started playing with was paint. And I had an aunt who had an apartment building that was like 3 levels of apartments, and she'd go in and clean them. And I would go in and fantasize about like my friends moving in there when we were older and stuff. And I started making the floor plan of that in paint. And my dad noticed that I started just creating floor plans in paint and decided to purchase The Sims for me because you could build houses. And so I did that. And for most of my life playing The Sims, I might dabble in gameplay here and there or make my Sim self to go explore like a new addition to something. But I've always been a builder, and it was always about building with the new content that came out. And I mean, obviously now we have so much more variety. We had a lot of variety in The Sims 3 as well. I felt like we were much more limited in The Sims 1 and 2, but I remember those years so fondly. But looking back now at like the content Stassi shows of what The Sims 1 used to look like, and now watching Nard like go in and playing The Sims 2 and that footage, yeah, you realize how pixelated and everything was when we were playing back in our day. But I always loved that. Like Nard was saying with his GI Joes, I had a similar love of Barbies, and I again more of a builder at heart. I would use the furniture more than I would actually gameplay with Barbies. And yeah, my love just took off for that, and eventually that went into me pursuing architectural drafting, and now I'm an architectural drafter. And even with access to the software that's out in industry standards today, like AutoCAD and Revit, I still prefer The Sims. I find the way that you can build there and mock stuff up is comparable, even better in some ways than the software that I use in terms of what I want to do for it. Obviously, if I wanted to make something that was like, dimensionable for somebody to build, you couldn't use The Sims. But in terms of mocking something up, there's nothing like it. So love The Sims.
Did you ever build like obviously you use paint, but did you ever just like take a notebook and be like, I want to draft out this house and then make it in The Sims?
Yeah, I found even in my math classes or like while I was in school, I might not pay attention to class. I was doodling a drawing instead, and then I would go home and make that. That's a very common thing when you didn't have the computer in front of you. So yeah, it's fun. I love that type of stuff. And yeah, it's always been easy to hone in on what I wanted to do, even with like programs that I, was a part of through college. When I went and taught things to people in junior high, I would use The Sims as a way to be like, if you like this, you could be an architectural drafter because this is very similar. So anyway, yeah, love it.
I know this is totally different though, Court, because it's not basically building houses, it's more like cities. But did you ever play Sim City too though, like as a kid? Because it had the
so good.
I know we're talking about this. I know we're talking about the Sims franchise, but Sim City was definitely one of the first simulation games out there because that started out in the late 80s, 89, I believe. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool that it relied a little bit more on the architectural side too. But
yeah, I loved it because yeah, you wouldn't actually like take a lot and then transform that lot. It would be more of like a block would get updated from being, a little bit less neighborhood friendly to then like these like lavish high-rise apartments which in hindsight is kind of problematic in terms of like gentrification and everything that we're doing to areas.
Yep.
But it was a fun game nonetheless. I'm
Yeah.
sorry there. I ruin everything.
You definitely do not ruin anything. What I'm actually kind of really shocked about, though, is that EA has not put out a remastered Sims 1 edition in 2020, in the 2020s.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing so many like for example, like Fallout has been remastered, Skyrim has been remastered, yet The Sims has not been remastered. I would love to go back and play Sims 1. And the thing is, and this is the question I've been holding on to ask you guys is, do you think if we went back and played The Sims 1 as adults, do you think we would still find it as nostalgia as we think we did? Because we have not played it in a very long time.
I'm gonna say yeah for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, only
Out of
because okay.
I was gonna say, out of curiosity, why?
Again, nostalgia. I think I would still enjoy it just like I enjoy playing Nintendo Super Mario Brothers and how I enjoy playing PlayStation's original Resident Evil 2. I even though the graphics might suck or whatever, it gives you that nostalgia where I can kind of sit and play it for a few hours and then kind of be done with it. Similar to like if I had a chance to play The Sims, because I mean I have the game, I just can't play it because I don't have like a old school computer with the right type of operating system. So I just think, yeah, I think I would really enjoy it and still have like that nostalgia moment. Even the nostalgia moments I get from Sims 2 is pretty cool too. Now that I can play that on my computer, that now that I downloaded it, so I just feel like I would get a little bit of nostalgia. I'm surprised you guys wouldn't feel a type of way if you're able to play a remastered version.
I would want to play it. I'm just so scared because I've put it on this pedestal as this amazing game because that's what my memory has allowed me as a child, as I had nothing really else to compare it to at the time. Looking back at it like as like today now, like there's so many different avenues and different types of games out there that I could fill the need that didn't exist 20 years ago. But
True.
that being said, I would be the first person in line to spend hundreds of dollars to have all of the expansions because I want to go back and play it as an adult and reform the memories and experience stuff that I don't remember playing or didn't even know was in the game because I played it as a child. And Court, how about you? I talk to me as you're giving like a screwed up face, which I love to. We can see it, nobody else can.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, I do think like I would play it and like I would have like a boost of nostalgia, perhaps. I just don't think it would be long lived. When I look back again, like at like the images that you share, Stassi, of what the Sims used to look like, it brings me back to those memories. And I just remember like the lack of options. I remember like recently you shared something and it was like the old like curved cabinets that you be able to get. And I remember thinking those were like the coolest thing at the time. But like I look back and everything was so blocky, like everything filled that like one by one tile and it was so yeah, just not really what furniture looks like. And I just think, you know, as we've moved on, we've gotten so much better and the graphics are so much better. And yeah, it would be hard for me to go back there and not just be like, okay, well, like building does not look as good. The does not look as good. Like, I mean, I think, you know, example like Juby and Koki are like some of the best builders in the game. Kevin and frickin' Alex are great too.
Nard.
And oh yeah, Nards. Oh my god, you're so bad.
Sorry.
Cringe.
Alex is going to demolish all of you. I'm so sorry.
What?
Stassi, you might have a chance, but Nard and Gons do not.
I only have one chance to win any of the challenges, and it's the build, and it's going to not be. I figured out what I'm going to build. It's not actually what I said it was going to be. It's going to be something completely different, and it's going to be so simple. And I think I'll win on it being just cute, just being cute.
Well, bring that same energy.
Oh my God, it's so funny. I gave advice to Gons. I was like, just make sure like it tells a story. And and then for Nard, I was just like, if you do like really bad, maybe people will vote for you.
See,
See,
I don't need none of y'all's help.
Alex is gonna come out with like the most outrageous build though. He'll be like, so this is a murder death house, and here's all the clutter from all the murder deaths that have happened here. And I'll be like, I built a store. Look at this store I built. And they'll be like, gold star, Stassi, you built something. Everyone else is I'm like, yeah, I did it. And I was just like, yeah, so like I built like a fucking jail, and it's just amazing. And I like made on like 99 cells, and it's like a 5x5 square. So like fuck you guys trying to figure this out.
Going to destroy you all. I'm so sorry that my faith is so high in it.
It's all good.
Yes.
I'm sorry though. What were you saying? You were talking about the builders and stuff, and kind of
I
threw
don't
you off.
remember. Oh yeah, okay. So all the fabulous builders out there that I'm not singling out because that's mean. All of the great builders out there, I don't feel like they could make a very epic build with the Sims 1 stuff. I would really be interested to see who could pull what off. I'm thinking of a few builders that might be able to make something look nice, but I just don't think the graphics are there to do what we can now do. So that's where I stand with it.
I can hear Cookie and GB, if they listen to this, typing right now, being like, how to build a giant 64x64 castle in The Sims 4. Did it. Or Sims 1 be like, haha, did it.
I feel like if anybody could, it's our castle queen. But
100%. But I just like, I don't know, I just find it fascinating. Like personally, I hold Sims 1 in such high regards. I hold Sims 2 in such regards. I've only played Sims 3 by accident, thinking it was Sims 4. But that, like, I feel like that's the thing of, we all played this game as a child. We've all said like a childhood age, yet we are still playing it as an adult. So my question kind of leads to, were you like me and skipped a franchise because life got in the way?
Yeah,
Or were
I
you?
skipped. Yeah, I did.
What franchise did you skip?
The third one, because I was in. When did the third one come out? I think that came out in 2008, 9, right?
I think so.
Let me see. I got my cheat sheet here. Sims 3 came out in June of 2013. I think. No.
Oh, there's
Wait a minute.
No, it doesn't seem right.
no.
I thought it was 2009.
Yeah, let me see. Sims 3 had 11 expansion packs, 9 stuff packs. It was released in.
This is why we need Gons on this podcast.
I know.
I know, right? Where you at, Gons? I'm looking at a timeline and it's just not showing me. I think it would have probably been somewhere around like 2000. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, I had a computer that didn't really play the engine for it, didn't work on my computer, so I had it, but I just couldn't play it. So by the time I even got back in The Sims, I was playing Sims Free Mobile or Free Play. And so I was playing Sims Free Play, and then when I got my new machine, I went from Sims Free Play to Sims 4, and then eventually went back to Sims 3 and started playing Sims 3. So that's how I kind of got back into playing The Sims at one point when I took that gap.
It's kind of same idea. So for anybody who is just enjoying us struggling, as screaming out, it was 2009. It was June 2nd, 2009 was the release date.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, because Sims 4 came out in 2014.
So yeah, because it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Disney, you look like you are shaking your head saying, no, baby girl, I've played this the whole time.
I will die. Nothing could ever get in the way of The Sims. I will work and then I will take time off in the nighttime to play The Sims. Nobody is getting me away from my baby. I love The Sims. I love The Sims 3 as well, and you guys were sleeping on that. With The Sims 3, you could like make different patterns. You could make anything, like whatever pattern you wanted for like furniture. You could move, like you had like open free world, and you could like move the 64 by 64 lot around the world wherever you wanted. We had spiral staircases. It was the good old days. Back in my day.
But it was so laggy. You had to have like a super juice supercomputer to play The Sims though. 3.
Oh yeah, and it would crash all of the time. It's like now what For Rent is like for The Sims 4. It's pretty much what The Sims 3 was like for me.
And okay, so something I always found about Sims 3, and again, I have no leg to stand on because I played it thinking I was playing Sims 4, not Sims 3. The Sims just look scary. Like I have like this dark shadow over their faces as because I'm trying to find like currently right now I'm searching for how does underwater camera work Sims 4. And I'm getting a lot of stuff for Sims 3, and I'm looking at these Sims be like, it's fucking petrified. I would never make the Rose Chronicles in Sims 3 because I wouldn't be as pretty as Sims 4 is.
Nah.
No.
The graphics are just way better in Sims 4 if we're comparing different graphics compared to all the whole franchise. For it to be 2000 and when it come out in 2014 or whatever. I really feel like just imagine if The Sims 4 came out now. I think the graphics would be like 20 times better than what it was 10 years ago for sure. But out of the
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say out of the franchise though, like definitely graphic wise, I would definitely say Sims 4 was way better.
See, we have Sims 5 or Project Renee. We're looking at it. We're seeing it. Again, Disney's like, I'm not part of this conversation. I don't know. Like, I love this franchise, but I'm willing to walk away and not play Project Renee or Sims 5 for a long time because I'm not ready to give up Sims 4. I'm not even close. I've spent so much money and, getting all this experience out of a game. Let's take a minute here, guys. What video game has a $70, like obviously most games have a $70 release. I guess that's pretty normal. But $70 expansion packs, and how many are there now in The Sims 4? And we are collectors on this call. All of us are. We own most. I own most of the packs, but I feel like you guys own all the packs as well.
I do, yeah. $70 Canadian though, right?
$70 Canadian.
Yeah, it's 40 USD. But yeah,
fucking
70 is expensive.
70 is expensive, and the base game was 90 in Canada.
Damn.
Before it was free. Yeah. $90, $70 for expansions. Game packs are now 30. Stuffs are 16, and kits are 8.
Damn.
So it's expensive. I can't say I've ever gone out and be like, I love this whatever this is so much. I'm going to spend $1,000 on it in a span of X amount of years so I can have it all. Nothing. What other game is out there and does not get ridiculed? So
Madden.
Yeah, well, or any of the Maddens or the FIFAs, but that's carbon copy. That's different. That's not that's not a base game with 100 expansions. That's just one game every year. Again, also EA. It's also an EA game, right? So Disney, how about you?
I would say with for The Sims, for The Sims 4, it took a while for me to jump into The Sims 4. I played The Sims 3 for a while. I think it wasn't until Windenburg came out that I actually fully moved on. I remember downloading The Sims 4, looking at it and hating it compared to The Sims 3 and being like, F this, I'm never playing it. And then I eventually played it. I feel like that happened to me when I first started playing The Sims 1 too. I started it and I was like, oh, I'm really bad at this. None of this makes sense. F this. And then eventually I just kept playing enough that I understood the game. So
I think it's also not just the game itself, but just the efforts that I feel like the developers and the people who are working for Maxis or the Sims in general have been putting an effort into. And for example, like trying to make the game represent as many people as they can. And obviously you're going to get a little backlash for that, but I do like those efforts that they tend to do throughout the franchise too, you know, making it feel a little bit relevant to the times or whatnot, if that makes sense.
I will say I do harp on The Sims quite frequently. And like I get a lot of flack for it. And I get a lot like, well, you fucking hate The Sims. Why do you play it? I don't hate The Sims. I
Right.
love The Sims. The Sims to me is the prodigy, first child, A+ student, but it's been getting B's and C's lately.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
I'm concerned to why is my A+ student getting B's and C's when it has the potential to have an A+. That's why I'm more disappointed. It's just I
Mm-hmm.
want my golden child to have those A+s and not the B's, and by B's, bugs.
Exactly.
I and I want
Oh,
more diversity and more worlds being explored. No more North American worlds. I'm tired of them. Give me
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see an Australian world. I'd love to see an African world. I would love to see a Middle Eastern world. And all these kits you've been giving us, give us worlds to go with
Mm-hmm.
it. So, anyways, Disney, you were gonna say something?
um, yeah, I just don't remember now. Shoot. Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. So I feel like well, we know before that The Sims 4 is the longest run that they've ever had for The Sims. Everything else seemed to have like a 5-year-ish life, I guess we would say. Um, if like obviously not all precisely, but around there. I wonder if like the add-ons over and over again are what's doing this to the game now to the point where it's just too like heavy, and like maybe that's why they need to go with like a Sims 5 because it's too much built onto the original game, expansion after expansion, but I don't know how that stuff works. Anyway, I don't even know how they'll go the Sims 5 route. Again, Sims 5 and Project Renee are not supposed to be the same thing. Project Renee is supposed to be something to do with the Sims 4 still, to my understanding. Whereas Sims 5 would be its own thing. And yeah, I just can't see that happening now, especially with the creator stepping down, or sorry, the what was their position? I can't remember.
Developers, they're like
Developers.
developers, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Gurus or whatever.
we'll see how that goes. But also like none of their competing games are like, we hear little whispers of them and stuff, but nothing's really going on with them. So, right, like I don't think they have much competition. They have people who want to be, but it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it's really happening.
Right? So
And only
like
time will tell.
like for the competitors I think that are coming out is Life by You. And I think there's another one.
Paralives, right?
Paralives. And for building, it's Hometopia. And at the end of the day, I played Hometopia. I was an ambassador for about 10 minutes and I got the early access to it. And since I'm not being paid or anything to say it, I was very disappointed.
Is it
Uh,
cartoony?
it was so cartoony. It didn't live up to the expectations, and the fact that they took when I was an ambassador, it was free. 2
Mm.
days after, it stopped being free. So I decided that that's not something I can stand behind. You
Yeah.
can sit on my podcast 24 hours before you're changing the price and telling me it's going to be free. So I really lost hope in that. But again, I would love to have the opportunity to sit down with Sims developers and have an honest conversation with them and be like, hey, what the hell is going on here? Like, why are you releasing so many packs a year? Is it obviously it's money, but can we
All
tone
right.
it, can we tone it back a little bit? Like in 2023, we had 2 expansions come out. 2. That's a lot. It's a lot of content. And like, no, or was it 3 expansions?
For last year?
Yeah, it was 3.
Growing Together.
Growing Together, Horse Ranch, and For Rent.
Yeah.
3. 3 expansions. I'm down for 1 expansion, 1 stuff pack, and 1 game pack a year. Call it a day. and not like 16 kits.
Mhm.
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, I'm a content creator, so you can give me as many expansion packs and game packs as you can. So
Oh,
I
right.
can.
So Nard is sponsored by Daddy EA, so he can't actually say anything negative, as
What?
Daddy
I
EA
can be negative.
Daddy EA will spank him and be like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, that's not true.
I
That's
know.
not true because I feel like, and I have a lot of respect for those, and I hate when people call people who complain about it being toxic, like negative, or people who don't voice their opinion, and it's just usually they don't talk about the pack, they're being too positive. For me, I like the idea of people being able to voice their opinion however they want, even if it's negative, because those who are, again, in quotes, complaining about the game are the ones that are actually making things happen. Like how long did it take for people to complain about pronouns, complain about the lagginess of the game or whatever it was, people not being represented properly? Those people making those or speaking up are the ones that are actually being heard. So like I appreciate those who actually are comfortable and have that voice to express how much they may not enjoy how the game is being played right now, or how it's working. Because if everybody just didn't talk about it, then nothing will really nothing would really will happen. We wouldn't be able to get as far as we've gone. So
Oh,
that's my thought process about it.
I mean, exactly. Again, I will come here and die on the hill of better representation. However, we got top scars, we got binding, we got hearing aids, all free things. And this is really
Mhm.
nice for it being the inclusion. The only thing I really want now is wheelchairs. And
Sure.
for Sims to be missing either an arm or a leg, of not having all of your extremities. Is that the right
Mhm.
word I want to use? I just think more inclusion would be super cool. But at the end of the day, like, we're watching this game of kind of evolve with us. And I'm gonna take in a comparison to Taylor Swift here. We've literally seen 4 eras of The Sims. We've all grown up with
Mhm.
this. It's kind of always been an aspect to our lives. And I can honestly say this, and I will ask you guys this next. I never thought, as I'm looking at being a 30-year-old woman sitting and making content about a video game and people tuning in and watching, like, did you guys think when you were 10 years old, 9 years old, playing this game, that you'd be sitting playing it in your 30s and having people around the world enjoying your content?
Nerd's in his 40s.
I knew that was coming. I was gonna say, wait, I'm not in my 30s. Yeah, yeah. Well played, nicely played. Honestly, I never thought that I would be entertaining and people following me for a video game that I've been playing for decades. So it's a fun experience, the fact that if I would have been able to go back and be like, talk to that junior in high school and be like, look, you're gonna be playing this game and it's like fourth like edition of it, like enjoy it, embrace the journey that you're about to embark on. It's interesting, it's really cool, the fact that this franchise had its longevity, and I still to this day question like what made this game such a success. Like even these other games like Mario Brothers franchise and the Zelda franchises and stuff, like what makes these games just so like successful, even though there's the games can be broken and we got our complaints, but for the fact that it's still so popular, even when I've noticed other content creators will create a Sims related video and it will go crazy. It will go immediately viral sometimes. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but I'll see other creators outside of of our community do something Sims related and it just like blows up because everybody is familiar with the franchise. It's just so crazy.
Yeah.
I definitely think you're definitely right. For like people who in my real life who don't call me Saucy and call me Jen or Jenny, I say like I play The Sims in 2024, and they're like, "A, people still play The Sims in 2024, and I played this game as a child. And I think kind of like what it is, especially you were touching upon like what makes a long lasting franchise. I think for The Sims, it's community. It is the
Mm-hmm.
community that we make this an outstanding franchise for us to want to be a part of. And not only that, I think it's the memories with our friends, especially like Mario Kart. I don't know how many Sundays I sat with my nieces and my nephew gathered around, sitting in my lap, playing Mario Kart on the Wii, and just being so excited to watch me beat every level. That is a memory that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And I think it's just those cherishing memories with these
Mm-hmm.
long-standing franchises that like that's why we're nostalgic, because in the moment we are so happy and just having fun. But Court, how about you? How are you feeling? Did you think that you'd be making Touty Tales
Skits.
skits? No?
No, no, especially with how I started out. When I started out, I was doing it was 2020 COVID, and my nieces lived with me at the time because their dad was going through a COVID divorce. So we'd get them for 2 days on, 2 days off, and then somebody had them on the weekends. And we would watch Disney movies all of the time, and I started recreating the Disney characters in The Sims for them. And it just was like, oh, I was on Instagram, on my personal Instagram, and saw different people making different things with it. And I was just like, well, if they're doing it, why not me? And so I started just posting my gallery pictures from, like, I would just take a snippet of it and then make it an Instagram post and post it. And it kept doing really well. And then eventually I ran out of Disney characters that I wanted to do. And I was like, well, what do I do now? And I started game playing my Disney princesses, and Pocahontas and Sleeping Beauty started flirting with each other randomly. And I just decided to make a whole story out of that. And then, yeah, I eventually, while I was working on Disney characters, the different townies through my gameplay would come up. So I started to incorporate them, and I started to revamp them a little bit to look similar to my princesses, because they had like different, meshes and, things on, and I wanted them to look similar. And so I started recreating the townies and then posting about them. And I fell in love with the Bear sisters. And as a result,
Mm-hmm.
I started making a whole story about them. And then I ended up liking other characters more than the Bear sisters. And I just love telling stories. So it was really fun. And I love having The Sims as an avenue to do that. And I love our community so much because there's so many people out there that create custom content that really are, through poses and different outfits and things, you're able to convey, a story that people want to read. So it's really fun. I want to, before we move on to the next topic, we were talking about Mario Kart, and I want to know, who do you play when you play Mario Kart?
Oh,
Bowser all the way.
I'm always Mario. I
You're
will
Mario?
I will not play
Okay.
unless I'm
Typical.
Mario. And if I can't be Mario, I will be Rosalina. But
Oh, cool.
I'm always on a motorcycle. I will
In-
never play car. I can't drive car, but I can beat anybody in a motorcycle. I have my specific
All right.
model that I like, and I'm
Mhm.
just really good at it. And I can get those corners, those drifts on a motorcycle. In a car, I'm going the fucking other way. But
Amazing.
yeah.
I love that. I love that you're Bowser as well, Nard. That tracks
Mm-hmm.
so hard.
Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
nice.
you guys play
My
Super
homie.
Smash Brothers?
I've
Mm-mm.
played on our Switch. So
Yeah.
I have ADHD, and I forget that because you have to mash buttons and pay attention. So that's really hard for me to do. So I forget who I am when I start playing. So
Yeah.
I always pick the Wii Yoga Girl because she's gray. So it's a little easier for me to see. And I'm just like mashing all the fucking buttons. And she's like downward facing dog yoga kicking people. I'm usually the first to die.
Oh my God.
I
I
never
would
played.
You're picking the wrong character.
what? I'm not a Smash. I am a Mario Kart girl or an Odyssey or
Mhm.
some form of game like that. But any like Street Fighter style game, I will
Mm-mm.
die instantly.
What about you, Court?
I am a savant when it comes to Smash and Mario Kart. I can only be one character, and that character is Donkey Kong.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Not bad.
I see.
And then also, I can also kind of play Captain Falcon on Super Smash. Falcon Punch.
Yes. But I feel like that describes our personalities perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Bowser.
Team Mario
It's so cute.
or Rosalina. Those are my two. Well, is it time to hit to the awards? To the
Just might be.
But
It looks like we might be. We have most valuable player, most improved, most underrated, best dressed, best looking, best name, most evil, and worst sim ever. And Court, is this throughout the franchise, right? So we can pick any sim throughout the franchise
you
of
can
The
pick
Sims.
any
Okay.
one. I do feel like most of mine are, if not all of them, are technically within The Sims 4. Yeah, so let's do this. So first,
So
what's the first nerd?
let's go with the most valuable player.
All right. In my opinion, most valuable player goes to Bella Goth because she's been around from the beginning and is the alien empress.
Interesting.
So yeah, we have to pick Bella.
Interesting.
How about you, Nard?
I'm gonna go with Father Winter only because he
Oh.
brings the gifts. And if you, woohoo him and have a kid with him, the kid also starts out with some money and gets the Father Winter baby trait or whatever. So I'm going with Father Winter because we all want that gift when he comes by, and he's just an overall cool player, and you can actually benefit from him if you use him properly.
I do appreciate that Nard clearly Googled this as he came
I did
prepared.
Oh wait, I did Google some things, but not the most valuable player though. But go ahead, go ahead.
Who's your
It's-
fave stop?
Okay, so I would say Bella Goth, not to steal from your answer, but I also came with a second. I would say Bella Goth is a pretty good, but I would say the Grim Reaper to me.
Mm.
I love, like, I think when we think of The Sims, we think of two things: the Goth family and death. So I'm gonna go with the Grim Reaper on this one.
I love that. It's a great one.
Nice.
Okay, what's the next category?
Most improved.
Most improved. I think Cassandra Goth has been the most improved because she looked so rough originally with her pigtails. In The Sims, the first version of her, and in The Sims 4, I feel like their remodel of her now is much better, which I feel like she's the only member of the Goth family that had a good revamp. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Nard, how about you?
I'm gonna go with the pancakes only because they used to be the newbies, and I think people will probably disagree with me. And but anyway, I would say the pancakes because if you kind of follow Sims 2 a little bit, the newbies were in the Sims 2, and they kind of have that same resemblance as the pancakes in the Sims 4. So I would say the most improved would be the pancakes, and I'm a huge Eliza fan, and so Team E. Team Nancy Landgraf, the most and Team Judith Ward, the most hated Sims characters
We'll get to them.
in the
We'll
franchise.
get to them.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
get
okay.
you skip.
My bad.
Skip. I appreciate that. I am gonna go with Bella Goth. You're gonna see a trend here on this one. Okay, here is the reason. As I have done many Instagram posts about her evolving because Instagram loves that. But at the same time, she looked fucking rough in The Sims 1. Like, she didn't have a fucking face. She didn't even have a nose. She had two Scooby-Doo 60s eyes, like black dots, and not only that, she has almost been in every single version of The Sims, every mobile game, every DS game, every PlayStation game. She has been in there, and watching her evolve, this is besides, I don't like her remake that The Sims did like a couple years ago when they did the townie makeover on her. But however, she has stood the test of time. So she's definitely much prettier from her Sims 1 days.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. What's the next one?
The next one is most underrated.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
that is a good one. Who is the most underrated? I'm going to go with Lilith Vittor. So the reason for that is because I think Caleb gets all of the hype, and notably well deserved. I love Caleb. But Lilith is badass and looks really cool. And yeah, I think we sleep on her. And she has really cool traits as well.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go with, since we're going in the same order, most underrated. I'm gonna go with Johnny Zest, only because he's it's just his storyline is interesting. It's questionable with the land grabs, even though we know. And then also he's just his aspiration being trying to be a inspiring comedian. That's really cool. And you can also play him in different scenarios. Like if you really wanted him to play on the whole entertainment thing with Get Famous, you can kind of utilize him in that. You can utilize him in City Living. You can move him from that world to San Myshuno. So I don't know. He's just an underrated character, and I feel like he's a very fun, playable character if you play him right.
Nice.
I know.
All right,
stop.
I mean, I didn't just Google underrated Sims quickly under the table and try to come up with a name. Okay, I have a hard one with this one because I know like 4 townies. Now, yeah. I'm going to put an asterisk here because I feel like there has to be one that I don't know their name. So Disney, help me out. Okay. Any mermaids? Are there any mermaid townies?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're all great. How can you hate on any of the mermaids?
No, okay.
No, underrated. Underrated.
They're underrated. Right? No, I think it. I think it's.
Oh, yes, I got you. Yes, okay. You're right.
The only reason I say they're underrated, and again, I don't know their names. I think the Sims forgot that they had mermaids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just really kind of wish that like they were a little bit more memorable, because like I was thinking like the vampire, like first I was gonna think Vlad, and I was like, Vlad's not underrated, he's kind of overrated in my opinion. But and then I started thinking, I'm like, I like the spellcasters and the werewolves, and I'm like, oh yeah, but there's fucking mermaids, like, yeah, and people kind of.
I think mermaids as a whole is like a good answer.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go mermaids just in general is very underrated, and I'd like to see more of that. So
respect. Next category.
Next category is best dressed.
I'm going Izzy Fabulous.
Okay. Let's see. Man, it's a good one. I'm gonna go with you know what? I kind of like Nancy in that
what?
What's that? I just
white and orange.
Yeah, I like my orange is my favorite color, you know. Oh, God. So no, that's too plain. You got me there. I don't know.
Diego Lobo.
Dude, Johnny Zest with that outfit.
Also, yeah, Johnny has a good outfit.
That suit, and with that little his hairstyle. Hey, yeah, I'm inspired by him. I even ended up buying me the same exact suit.
You actually do have Johnny Zest's suit. I remember that.
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Best dressed, Johnny Zest.
All right. It even rhymes. We got it. All right.
Yeah, but you guess, Bella Goth.
How'd you know? Here's not my cop-out reason, because I only know about Bella Goth. Her red dress is iconic. Yes. I cannot see a red halter dress without thinking of Bella Goth. And not only do people who not play The Sims know what Bella Goth's red dress looks like. So to me, that's timeless and iconic.
Mm. That makes sense.
Yes.
All right. Best name. The best name out of the Sims franchise.
I'm going Kyle Kyleson.
Okay.
That was gonna be mine. I didn't even know that was a townie until the townie or Summer Awards. I was like, who the fuck names it Kyle Kyverson? Or whatever the hell his name was.
Mhm. Isn't there a candy bear, right?
There is.
There's Candy
Yeah,
Bear.
I kind of like that. That's a good little play on words. But I'm gonna go with Penny Pizzazz. That just like just spells out the name. That just comes out just so smooth. Penny Pizzazz. You know,
That's a
Penny
good
Pizzazz. I know.
Um, I am gonna go with Vlad. I know that's not a weird. I like Vlad. He's a vampire.
Vladimus.
Venomous.
Gladys Strahd.
Yeah, that again. I'm like, okay, he's a daddy vampire, and he can come bite my neck. It's fine.
Ooh.
Yes.
Laddie Daddy.
Yeah, zaddy
Mhm.
daddy.
All right. Most evil.
Ooh, Greg Lundvik is pretty up there, I would say. Evil Greg, beware.
I'm gonna go with Greg too.
Yeah.
I'm just
Spell it
gonna go.
off.
Actually, how did you know? So I'm gonna go with Greg. Actually, I'm gonna go with. I'm just kidding. I don't know who Greg is, and I'm not gonna pretend and be called out.
Evil werewolf.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a werewolf. We talked about him in the werewolf and vampire episodes, I believe.
Yeah. He's a big deal.
Shaking. Yes, 100. I believe we did. I could not point it out to you if I saw him on the the streets of Townie. Actually, I would go with the land grabs. Nancy.
Oh, that's a great answer. That's like a different kind of evil too. It's like that more realistic, like evil that we deal with on a regular basis.
100%. So
Well said. That's a great answer.
That's a good one.
All right.
All right, here we go. Worst sim ever. A little different than most evil, but the worst sim ever.
The worst sim ever.
Don't you say Eliza.
She is kind of horrible though. Bob deserves better. Eliza does suck.
No, Eliza is misunderstood. She's dealing with a freaking lazy, gloomy slob.
Slob. I was gonna go with Eliza.
Go for it.
Yeah, I am going with Eliza. I don't like her.
Why though?
Because Bob deserves better. That's why.
justice for
Okay.
Bob. I'm just saying. Justice
Bob.
for Bob.
Alrighty. Worst sim ever. I don't know. I'm gonna go with worst sim ever. I'm gonna go with see, Nancy's the homie, and then E's the homie as well. I don't know. This is hard. I might just have to. I might go with Vlad because he does show up in my gameplay quite a bit, and he's just annoying.
All the time. Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
he
Vlad.
would too.
Yeah, Vlad's just always up in my crib just trying to get a bite. I'm like, come on, man. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Vlad.
I would be trying to think of a couple answers. The first answer that comes to mind for the name, not for who they are. I particularly don't like the name Caleb. I really hate that name. So anytime I see Caleb anywhere in The Sims,
Fair
I
enough.
like literally like want to like projectile vomit everywhere because like it just the name makes me feel so uncomfortable. However, I have to go with Eliza.
Yeah.
Boo.
She's the worst. We all know that friend that's in that really bad relationship, and we tell her like you can do better, and then she's like, yeah, but we file our taxes together and we like share the same phone bill, so like we have to stay together. Like that's that relationship in a nutshell, and it's no bueno for me over here. So
You know what? I want to change my answer from Vlad to
Okay.
Bobby Pancakes.
Wow.
He's the worst sim ever.
So
Lazy,
If Artie was following you and loved you, Artie will no longer like you. He
I
loves
know.
Bob. I'm just saying.
I'm probably gonna get canceled for sure. There's too many Bobby
It's
Pancake
actually
fans.
hilarious, Nerd, because like you're so similar to Bob personality
I
wise.
know.
I don't know
I
why
know.
you could hate on him. He's literally the closest person to you personality wise, and you kind of
No.
look like
Don
an
I'm
older balding
Are
version.
you saying you're Don Lothario? Is that what you were just
Don
gonna fucking
Lothario
say?
all the way. Back in my day.
Oh, okay.
My aspiration trait has changed, obviously.
Before you were
But
a married man, before you were
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
when
So
you were a
yeah,
single
yeah.
man.
Right. So
Lothario
Don
is the
Lothario
worst.
traits. So I'm just
No, you
kidding.
know what? I'm changing my answer to Don Lothario as the worst Sim because like he's effing around on Katrina with her daughters, and he
That
had a
is crazy.
Sandra Goth back in The Sims 3. Like, yeah, it's a hot mess.
Actually, you're right. He probably would be the worst sim ever if you
Yeah, I
think
was
about it.
sleeping on him. Yeah, you can keep Eliza Stassi's answer. My answer is Don.
Okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
There you go. Well,
cool.
everybody listening to this, if you want to let us know what yours are, I'm gonna have the list below of what we just voted on, and then please let us know who you think deserves all the townies that deserve these awards. Before we wrap up, not that I like want to say like a love letter to The Sims, but is there anything that like our my like you want to let the listeners know that like why that you love The Sims and like what your hopes and dreams are for The Sims moving forward?
Yeah, I would say, I would thank The Sims for, all of 24 years of me getting to play this as my creative outlet, whether it be building or storytelling. There's some way for me to get something out of that creatively that just makes me happier. And I, I think that creative outlet is so important for people and whatever that looks like for them. I wish everybody in the world had it because not everybody has something like this that they can use as, as a form of therapeutic activity for them. So very appreciative. And yeah, for the future, I just want them to keep making stuff that we can use to fuel that ultimately. So thank you.
I
Yeah.
love that. Nard, how about you?
Same. I was afraid to use the word therapy, but yeah, I feel like it is kind of like therapy. It's like very therapeutic, and it gives me quite a bit of outlets. It gives me friendships. It helps me build a community of people that's just like me, whether it's how I play in the game or it's whether people find out about my personal interests, whether it's music or film or whatever. And the fact that the franchise has just been going around for so long, it also brings back childhood nostalgia from playing the other games, and it's bringing a lot of people together. I mean, it's bringing an amazing community, and I want to thank them for that. I want to thank them for also listening, because it's not the greatest game out there. The game could obviously be better, and the fact that they are trying their best to listen and trying to make those improvements to make even the next Sims franchise or the Sims game even better. I feel like they're listening. And so, yeah, it's just a great, I want to thank them for just allowing us all to just be here right now, talking about the Sims, talking about their anniversary. 24 years in the making. And it's just a honor and a privilege to be part of the community. And it's because of them and the longevity of the game. It's bringing us all together. So it's really nice to be part of it. So thank you, Maxis. Thank you, Sims, for still being around. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store,
Aw, this is why I didn't want to go after him.
Oh
So
my
it's just me.
goodness.
It's just me. I'll take the cringe trait. It's fine.
Oh my God.
I want to thank The Sims. It's like a friend. It's always been a friend to me. When I need it, she's there. I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and I've lost a lot of people at very young ages, and I get to make them in The Sims and give them the life that they didn't get to have, and that is something that like it's very special to me. I have interviewed over 120 people from around the world who love this game, who brings this game together. And I couldn't do that without The Sims. This long-standing friendship that we all have with The Sims is second to none. And it's been an absolute pleasure to sit down with so many amazing creators around the world and get to hear how their walks of lives are and how they play The Sims and how The Sims has not only changed their lives, but how it's changed the people around them's lives. I love The Sims as it is absolutely therapeutic. I've had a really rough January. I will not shy away from that. And last night I played The Sims for 5 hours and I've not been as happy that I've been in a long time, that I was just able, it's just it's just me being creative. As we're adults, we don't always get to be creative in our 9 to 5s because we have to pay the bills. But it's just nice to come home and I want to make a chapter in Rose Chronicles. I want to build a house. I got to start doing stuff for the draft wars. It's just really fun that I have this blank canvas in front of me and I get to design anything I want with no rules. And I have to thank EA and Maxis for allowing us to be able to just be our authentic selves and create whatever we want, because there's no other platform out there like that. And that is why the community has stood by you for so long, and we love you for allowing us to come together and just create. And thank you, thank you, thank you. So,
Wow, yeah, that was good.
And that
Only
was
thing-
amazing.
The only thing I want to say to what you just said was just you don't have to worry about the draft wars. Don't think about doing anything with the draft wars or anything. Don't worry about that part.
I don't think any of you worry about the draft wars because Alex is going to demolish all of you.
Alex, I ain't worried. I'm not worried about Alex. All right. I hope he's listening right now. Alex, you need to be worried about me. All right. I'm a triple threat. Okay.
Nard is the last person you have to worry about.
True. Can I stay in character, please? Thank you. But yeah, true. I'm probably the less anybody needs to worry about. I'll probably get disqualified if anything.
What are you talking about? You're such a good builder.
Oh yeah, you best believe.
Oh, again, I'm only winning the building one, and if I'm not even winning, I might get an honorable mention. But
last week, guys, you're not competing with this.
Or cast.
I'm good.
Okay, or cast, because y'all are narcissistic and only create yourselves. Besides Alex. As someone who has created over 80 Sims for the Rose Chronicles that all kind of look alike. However, I kind of have that in the bag.
Don't all look alike. I can attest. You have certain characters that remind me of celebrities that aren't the same. So that's not true. You do a great job.
Thank you. Because when they were like, oh, we're going to, I thought we were creating like a family. I thought I was always going into that. And I was like, oh, we're going to challenge, build an entire family. I was like, oh, I thought we were doing that the whole time. It takes you an hour to build a sim. Baby girls, come join the storyteller life. You got like 20 minutes to create a new sim and walk out and start this.
A whole family though. Sheesh.
Oh, I can make a whole family in 40 minutes max. And it makes sense.
Do they only have one outfit for all 5 outfits?
I don't know. We don't know.
It's a really cool competition, I have to say. Like the idea of doing Cass and the challenge and build, like it's a triathlon for The Sims. There's no other way to describe it. It's like you have to be a triple threat in order to do well in something like this. It'd be interesting to see how this goes, because like it would be cool to do like a bigger version of this.
Oh, I could not agree more. But I also have to put the asterisk to, I have to build everything offline, and then y'all are going to tour it after because my laptop ain't open in Twitch and having Sims going. There is no way in hell.
Yes, it's a challenge.
It's a challenge. By challenge is I will send you guys my hour file after, and then you can watch it if your little heart desires, and we can be like, this is what it looks like.
Okay.
So, yeah, well, that's what I have to do because I can't have Twitch and Sims open at the same time. It will break my laptop. So if I couldn't have my webcam and Twitch going at the same time, I don't think I can open up the Sims. So
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Anyways.
And so you can pay for Stassi's Patreon, and then maybe we can get her
new
a
computer.
working laptop to Twitch.
That has more than 20 gigs free at like any time. Oh my God. I like right now I'm sitting at 30 and I'm like, oh my God, I can open up Photoshop and The Sims at the same time right now. And everything somewhat works on one screen. On one screen. I do this all on one screen, baby. So anyways, love you both. Thank you so much for coming here today and indulging and taking a minute and celebrating again as a lifetime friend that's been around for over 20 years and 24 years and 21 years, 22, 20. Anyways, in the 20 years for everybody. Before we wrap up, where can we find you? And we'll start with Nard.
All things Nardvillain, other than Instagram at the moment, Nard Sims, but everything else, Twitch, Reddit, Twitter/X, YouTube, and all the other ones I'm missing. All Nardvillain. Patreon, all of it.
I love that. Disney Sims, where can we find you?
You can find me at Disney Sims and at Towny Tales. And if you want to download my Disney prince or princesses, you can go to the EA gallery at the Disney Sims.
Amazing. I just got distracted because Nard stood up. I was like, why am I seeing his shit? Again, thank you both so much for coming here today. If you like what I do, please consider subscribing to this. You never miss an episode. This podcast the season is coming to an end in a couple weeks, and I'm really excited about it because I'm really excited to finally close the chapter on season 2 and all the exciting stuff to come for season 3. But that doesn't mean there won't be podcast episodes between now and when I come back for season 3. There will be episodes, so please stay tuned to when I announce season 3 later next month. If you like this podcast as well, like Court said, maybe subscribing to Patreon and helping this poor girl. Help me out. No, they don't have to, but if you can. It's always weird asking people for money because it's not me. But anyways, love you guys for doing that. I have a story on Instagram called Rose Chronicles as I'm wearing my first ever merch here today. That's all destroyed because I wore this shit everywhere. Like, look at this. I wore this sweater all throughout the pandemic because I was so proud of it that I was able to create something and put it on a shirt and wear my own merch. But anyways, please go check out new chapters of that. That comes out every Monday. I'm very bad at this as I'm trying to think of all the things. I have a special secret project coming out this year. So please stay tuned for that as it was somewhat soft.
So cool.
It was somewhat soft launched a couple weeks ago now. So please stay tuned for that. I'm very excited for that. I'm also part of the Draft Wars. And I'm on Twitch. Please go follow me on Twitch if that's how you follow people on Twitch, and enjoy it. I'll be back for more episodes of the Draft Wars. I also play Amy and the Reaper. That season's coming to an end very soon. Love you, OMG Sims. Love you. And if you want to check out Davenport as well, I also play Amy in that. I was in it the last couple seasons, and I think that's everything because I'm just rambling now. I just forgot, and I'm in season 3. I'm just gonna have Alex do my outro because he's so good at it. Anyways, love you both. Thank you so much for coming here today. And at the end of the day, happy birthday, Sims. Can't wait to see what the next 24 years holds for you. Oof. At that point, we gonna be old. Like oh my God, like 24 years from now, I will be 54. Oh. And now
I'm 64.
You'll be 64. And Court, you'll be a ripe 40. Nice. Yes. Well, everyone, thank you so much for coming here today. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.